I have to be very careful with this next intro because it's slightly last minute and it's also not on your lineup. It's a surprise guest. All right, let's bring him on.
The special guest.
You can clap even though you don't know who he is.
This, in particular, is the important piece. Yes, there you go.
Someone got
it.
You're one of the 13 kids.
It's 11.
It's actually
so
11.
But
yeah.
We'll give that to you.
So wait, just to be clear, so the shirt, in case you didn't see, it says SPDR, and that was enough for someone to say that you were one of the kids. So
Okay,
who are the kids? What's going on?
I'm going to do the unveil before people start talking about platinum coins again, or Bitcoin. So the SPY 11, also known as the SPY Kids, are 11 pretty random now millennials who have about $250 billion tied to them in the form of the world's biggest ETF, the SPDR, S&P 500 ETF, known by the ticker SPY.
I still can't believe this is real. So what's the deal?
Well, basically, SPY was created as a unitary investment trust, partially because it would be easy to get through the SEC regulations. At the time, to create this type of vehicle, they had to basically get two separate divisions of the SEC to come together and approve it, which, if anybody's worked with regulators, that's incredibly difficult.
What year was this?
Oh gosh, it's probably around 93, 94 when this document was created. I've probably more leading up into that, but I think probably late 80s, early 90s as well. But so basically what a unitary investment trust is, just to give a little legal background, is it's a vehicle that they put these investments into for this initial ETF that is connected to, not only does it have a date limit to go against the rule of perpetuities, but they also have measuring lives, which is us 11 kids who are all kind of family members who were born around the time that this was created. So, for example, myself and two of my cousins who couldn't make it tonight are also are part of the 11.
But you didn't know that you were actually listed on this legal document until one of our reporters actually called you up.
Yes.
What was that conversation like? Did you think immediately that it was a scam?
Yes, actually. I was like...
Wait, this was just a few weeks ago?
Yes, this was probably mid-August, yeah.
So you've gone your whole life without knowing that the world's largest ETF, how much is in it now? $250 billion, its continued existence is contingent on you and 10 other people being alive.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to get that clear. And you found this out a few weeks ago.
Yes. I mean, the lead-in email, it's like, you're connected to this massive $1 billion fund. I mean, that reads like any Nigerian prince scam. Like, guys, you're getting real elaborate. Like, businesses are giving this info away in these hacks. Like, why do you got to do all this?
I'm still a little confused.
Right?
What was the legal requirement? I still don't know actually.
Well, so I have a question on this because you actually touched on it already, the rule against perpetuities.
Yep.
Have you just become an expert in this in the past 3 or 4 weeks?
A little bit. My mom, who put us on this list, was actual Amex counsel at the time for the American Stock Exchange, who kind of helped push and create this product. And yeah, she kind of explained it to me. It's basically to avoid having something that can go on in essentially perpetuity. You can't have any, like, for example, a trust. It could, if you had it go on in perpetuity, it can be doling out assets forever, in theory. But that's why they have these rules in place to kind of limit these things, and one of them is to use measuring lives, and that's what we are, essentially.
Do you resent that, like, they've made so much money on this, and I assume you don't get anything?
That was my first question, and yes, I was
what's
quite
your cut?
do I get like a, I don't know, a
1%.
royalty or anything?
Yeah, just 1%.
Like
That
a couple of
doesn't seem that
SPY?
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, come on.
Does someone, I mean, clearly not because you didn't know about this until recently, but how do they know that you're alive?
That's funny. That was a question we had. Like, who's tracking? Is there anybody tracking us? My cousin joked it's like the Bourne Supremacy, where they have all like the faces and the heartbeats going like on the screen and all. I don't think anybody did. I don't think anybody. So I think a thing to understand here, when this was all done, this was part of a 60-page legal document that was meant to be filed at the SEC and like lost forever. You know, it just would end up in some random government file. They weren't expecting these things to all be digitalized and put up on Edgar filings, and easily searched by people on Twitter, apparently.
Not easily searched. I did that search, by the way.
Well, somebody had found it, right?
Yeah, and sent it to us. Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah.
it took a long time it took years for them to find it. Yeah.
Why were they searching
Actually, that
for you?
person might be here.
That's my question.
Today.
Who was it?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
So, have you met the other Spy Kids? Are you all friends now? I like to think that you're all going to go on vacation together.
But you
and
can't be
form
in the
a
same room together, right? Like, that seems like it would be like a major financial stability risk to have you on the same plane or the same building, right? Like,
it does not seem like a good idea. No, actually, so two of them, other names on the list, I don't know if, their names are out there already, I guess. Pete and Paul Pavelka are my cousins, and they were also kind of born around the same time, so my mom thought, well, yeah, let's put them on there as well.
what do you do besides $250 billion riding on you?
So I actually work in public relations for a financial PR firm, M Group.
Who's fake?
M Group, got to give the plug. Sorry.
No problem. You got to get something out of this.
Yeah, right? So it's not that weird that financial reporters reached out to me. It was kind of like, but the weird question was like, is your name Kevin Patrick McGrath? Now, I don't use my middle name on anything. Like, I think it's probably on 2 documents connected to me, and it's... So that was like, when I was like, what? Like, what is this all? Like, that was really the thing that ticked me off. I was like, where does this come from?
Are you putting it on your business card, Spy Kid?
Haven't yet, but I'm thinking about it. Also thinking about getting some identity protection service.
That's right. If anyone wants to help crowdfund some identity theft protection for Kevin, whose full name and birth date is widely available, we should probably do that.
Can I just say I'm extremely impressed that like how articulately you talk about like securities law and the law relating to perpetuities and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I guess like you probably crammed after like discovering all this and wanted to learn everything, but I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you. And no, it's part of that. I mean, sure, I definitely read into it, but also just being around my mom my whole life, and she was just very talked about work very openly.
Oh yeah, what did she say? So at some point, I assume you asked her, like, Mom?
Yeah.
Like,
so before, I think maybe shortly before Rachel was able to contact me at work.
Rachel is the Bloomberg reporter.
Yes, correct. She had called my home and gotten my dad on the line. So he's like, call my, like, obviously this has to be connected to your mother. And I realized that once I saw someone sent me the filing, and I saw that it was Spy, and I had known Spider from being a kid, because obviously they had the really cool merch and Spy. You know, as your 8-year-old kid, you go to like your parents, like the swag room at their office, and you see like spiders, and I was like, oh, awesome! Like I'm grabbing all that.
You're perfectly made for Odd Lots, by the way.
Yeah.
If you think that's cool.
Exactly. And yeah, it was just kind of. I called her up and I was like, Mom, like, did you do this? And she's like, did I do that? She did not remember. Again, this was just a very...
I thought it was going to be more like, I knew one day this conversation was
I know, that's the more exciting.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was just, for them, it was very routine. It was just kind of like a call going around the office like, hey, does anybody had recently had kids or know somebody who had recently had kids who want to put their name on this fund? And
all right.
And now
I'm on Odd Lots.
One of the 11.
No pressure.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin McGrath, thank you so much for coming on and being our surprise
Thanks.
guest. And thanks everyone for playing the game.